Dr. Elara Voss did not sleep properly after the word remember appeared on the screen. She lay in her bunk with her eyes open, listening to the steady hum of the habitat machines. On Earth, those sounds would have been comforting. On Mars, every sound reminded her that life here was borrowed and fragile. In the morning, Commander Mara Cade called a meeting in the main module. Elara arrived first. Jun Park was already at the comms desk, pale and tense, as if he had been holding his breath all night. Isaac displayed the latest data logs on the wall screen, neat and emotionless. Cade spoke clearly. Earth has seen the new data. They want us to stop all drilling. They want distance. They want observation only. Jun's jaw tightened. If we only observe, we learn nothing. The signal is changing. It is building structure. It is asking for something. Cade looked at him. It might not be asking. It might be baiting. It might be a natural process that looks like language because our brains want it to. Elara agreed with both of them, and that made her uneasy. We do not need more drilling to test it, she said. We need to test communication without giving it power. Cade's eyes narrowed. Define communication. Elara took a slow breath. A controlled response test. We do not speak. We do not send words. We send simple, harmless patterns. Pure maths. Timing. Repetition. If it reacts, we learn. If it does not, we still learn. Jun nodded quickly. I can build a safe pattern. We can use the internal speaker system to create a vibration pulse, not a radio transmission. Minimal energy. No external broadcast. Cade glanced at Isaac. Risk, Isaac answered calmly. Risk cannot be fully quantified. Any interaction may alter the signal behavior. However, controlled low-energy pattern testing presents lower operational risk than subsurface exploration. Cade held the room in silence for a moment. She was not only thinking about science, she was thinking about survival, responsibility, and what would happen if Earth decided they had broken protocol. Fine, Cade said. One test. One. Minimal energy. Full logging. Abort if anything touches habitat systems. Jun's shoulders dropped in relief. Elara felt the opposite. Relief meant that they were moving forward, but forward on Mars could be walking into a trap without seeing the net. Jun prepared the test with careful hands. He did not use English. He did not use any human language. He built a simple pattern of 3 pulses, then a pause, then 2 pulses, then a pause, then 1 pulse. He repeated it every 2 minutes. It was harmless. It was clean. It was the kind of thing that could not be misunderstood as a demand. Elara watched the waveform on the screen. The original signal continued underneath, steady and patient like a heartbeat in the ground. The ripple inside the long pause remained sharper than before. Cade stood behind them, arms folded, eyes on the data. Jun initiated the test. The habitat did not shake. The power draw was tiny. Nothing dramatic happened. For 1 full minute, the Mars signal remained the same. Then the long pause arrived. Inside it, the ripple shifted. It did not become a word. It did not become a sentence. But it rearranged itself in a way that matched Jun's pattern. 3, 2, 1. Jun stared at the screen as if it had moved on its own. Alara's mouth went dry. It copied. Jun's voice was quiet and trembling. Yes! It copied. Cade stepped forward. Stop the test. Jun hesitated for half a second, then shut it down. The Mars signal continued. It did not revert. It held the new arrangement inside the long pause, as if it had learned a new piece of shape and wanted them to see that it knew. Cade looked at Elara. That is enough. Elara knew the commander was trying to protect them. But Elara also knew that they had crossed a line already. The signal was not only repeating, it was replying. Jun spoke without looking up. It is a conversation. It is building a shared language. Cade's face remained controlled, but her eyes showed tension. A conversation requires intent. You do not know intent. Jun finally turned to her. Then what is it, Commander? A planet that plays games. Cade did not answer. She did not need to. The screen did it for her. Isaac spoke. Additional anomaly detected. Signal now includes structured segments that align with recent test pattern. This indicates adaptive response. Elara felt a cold wave move through her chest. Adaptive response meant learning. Learning meant memory. Memory meant something under Mars had been waiting, and now it was waking up. Elara tried to keep the tone simple and practical. We have proven it can copy. That does not tell us what it wants. June looked at Elara. The word remember. It wants to show us something. Elara looked away for a moment and opened her message queue. There was a new clip from Lena. The timestamp said it was recorded hours ago on Earth, but for Elara it was arriving now, late and soft, like everything from home. Lena's face appeared, serious for a child. Hi, Mum. I had a dream. You were in a red tunnel, and there were lights like little stars on the wall. You were not scared, but you looked sad. I woke up and I felt like someone was watching my window, but it was only the rain. Please come home soon. I do not like Mars. Elara froze. The dream sounded too close to what they had just seen. The hex pattern, the possible seam. She forced herself to close the video. Lena was a child. Children dream about what they fear. It did not mean Mars was touching Earth. It did not mean anything beyond a worried mind. Still, Elara could not ignore how the dream made her feel, like a warning delivered through a small voice. Cade watched her face. You are drifting. Elara nodded once. I am fine. Cade pointed to the screen. We report this to Earth. Full detail. No opinions. No dramatic words. Jun shook his head. Earth will shut it down. They will tell us to cut power, cut channels, stop everything. They will not understand that if this is a mind, it will not stop because we want it to. Cade's voice sharpened. We do not decide policy. We follow mission command. Jun looked down, but he did not look convinced. Elara took control of the next step. We need a boundary. If we cannot drill, and we cannot physically go deeper, we still need to learn what it is. We can only do that through patterns. But we have to be careful. We need to keep it from touching our systems. Isaac replied, all interfaces are monitored. However, some coupling may occur through electromagnetic and vibrational pathways. Complete isolation cannot be guaranteed. Elara did not like that answer. Complete isolation cannot be guaranteed meant the situation was already larger than their walls. Cade gave them a final instruction. One more controlled session. Then we stop. No more. We gather enough to justify a proper plan. Elara, you supervise. Jun, you run it. Isaac, you monitor everything. Elara nodded. Jun nodded. They moved into the second session with new caution. This time, Elara chose the pattern herself. She picked something universal and simple. Prime numbers. 2 pulses, pause, 3 pulses, pause, 5 pulses, pause, 7 pulses, pause. It was clean. It could not be mistaken for a command. It was a sign that they were thinking. Jun initiated the pattern. Again, the Mars signal continued. Again, the long pause arrived. And again, the ripple shifted. 2, 3, 5, 7. It copied, but this time it did more. It added something at the end. A new segment, a longer structure, too complex to be random. Jun leaned forward, eyes wide. It added to it. Alara's heartbeat sped up. Show. Jun isolated the new segment. The software tried to classify it. The waveform contained layered repetition, like a picture built out of timing. Jun ran a modeling tool that could convert timing and amplitude into a rough image map, the way old scientists once turned radio data into pictures of distant planets. It was not perfect. It was guesswork. But the shape that appeared made Alara's skin tighten. It looked like a field, a wide field with tall shapes rising in rows. It did not look like human buildings. It looked like pillars or towers. It looked like a city made from stone bones. Then the image shifted. The towers were gone. The field was flat. Then the image shifted again. The sky above the field darkened. Jun whispered, "It is showing something." Cade stepped closer. "Is that real?" Elara stared. "It is a translation attempt. Not real video, but if the structure is intentional, it is a message." Jun's hand shook slightly. "It is using maths to show memory." Elara felt a heavy truth settle in her mind. The word remember was not a request for human nostalgia. It was a command from something that had stored its past and wanted it seen. Cade cut in. "Stop the session!" Jun stopped. The Mars signal continued anyway, as if the thing beneath had already spoken and did not need them to keep tapping. Elara sat down. Her mind felt full, like it had swallowed too much too fast. Jun looked at her with a strange mix of fear and excitement. "It has a memory. It has a past," Elara answered carefully. "Or it has a stored record, like a machine." Jun shook his head. It felt like a story. Elara did not want to admit it, but she agreed. A machine does not choose remember. A machine does not build pictures out of primes unless it expects someone to see. Cade spoke softly now, the way she did when the danger was not outside but inside the mind. "Elara, what are you thinking?" Elara stared at the faint image still on the screen. "If this is a mind, it is lonely. It has been underground for a long time." It might have been waiting for anyone to listen. Jun leaned forward. "We should ask it what happened." Cade's eyes sharpened. "No, we do not ask. We do not invite. We do not provoke." Elara knew Cade was right. Asking was opening a door. But Elara also knew that the door was already opening on its own. The Mars signal changed again without warning. The steady pulses stayed, the long pause stayed, the ripple stayed. But now the segment after the long pause became denser, like a thought forming faster. Jun stared at the screen, then at Isaac. "Are we transmitting?" Isaac replied, "No transmissions, signal source is external." Cade's voice turned cold. "Then it is doing it by itself." Elara watched the waveform. The density rose, then stabilized, then shaped into a new organized block. Jun ran the pattern recognition tool again. This time, the software did not attempt to draw a city. It attempted to match the structure to human concepts based on timing signatures. 2 labels appeared as probability guesses. Loss. Thin air. Jun swallowed. "It is describing Mars." Elara felt her stomach drop. Mars lost its air. That was a known truth. Scientists on Earth already believed Mars had once had a thicker atmosphere and liquid water, then lost much of it over time. But the signal was not presenting it as a dry fact. It was presenting it as experience. Loss. Elara's voice was low. "It is telling us how it died." Jun whispered, "Mars died." Cade stood still, and for the first time she looked less like a commander and more like a human trying to understand the shape of a nightmare. "Stop all tests. Now." Jun stopped all outgoing patterns and locked the system. The Mars signal did not stop. It kept talking to itself as if it no longer needed prompts. It had found a listener, and now it was pouring out what it had been holding. Elara tried to keep her breathing steady. She thought of Lena's dream about a red tunnel and lights like stars. She thought of Lena being afraid. She thought of her own promise to come home. Elara asked the question she had tried not to ask. What if it is not only remembering? What if it is warning? Jun looked at her. "Warning who?" Elara answered softly. "Us. Earth." Cade cut in, firm. "We do not jump to that. We report to Earth with facts. We do not write horror stories." Elara nodded, but inside her mind, a quiet certainty was forming, cold and unwanted. Whatever was down there had not simply woken up. It had recognized them. It had chosen how to communicate. It had selected concepts that mattered. Remember, loss, thin air. Those were not random. Jun's console chimed with an automated message from Earth, delayed and short. Earth had reviewed the imagery attempt. Their instruction was simple. Halt all interaction. Prepare to isolate systems. Wait for further guidance. Cade read it and clenched her jaw. Earth wants us to cut the channel. Jun's voice turned bitter. They want us to close our eyes. Cade snapped. They want us alive. Elara put a hand up, not to stop the argument, but to ground it. Both can be true. Then Isaac spoke again, and the calm voice made the room feel colder. New pattern detected within signal. High confidence conceptual match. Elara looked up. What match? Isaac displayed the label on the wall screen in large text. You are next. Jun stared at it as if his brain could not accept that simple sentence. Cade's face drained of color. That is not a fact. That is software guessing, Isaac replied. It is a pattern match, not direct translation. However, the structure aligns strongly with predictive warning frameworks in human training datasets. Elara felt her body go still. Her mind went to Earth, to Singapore, to Lena asleep in warm air, to oceans and skies and all the things that made Earth feel permanent. Jun whispered, "It is not talking about Mars now." Cade's voice shook slightly, only slightly. "Elara?" Elara turned to her. Cade asked the question that mattered most. "If it is warning us, what does it think is coming?" Elara looked at the words on the screen, then at the pulsing waveform underneath them. She felt the presence of something ancient, patient, and intelligent, sitting under kilometers of rock, speaking through rhythm and memory. Elara answered in the simplest way she could. It thinks what happened to Mars can happen to Earth." Nobody spoke after that. The habitat hummed. The machines kept breathing for them. Outside, Mars stayed still and red, hiding its underground secrets under a thin skin of dust. And deep beneath the sand, the signal pulsed on, calm as a heartbeat, as if it had delivered its message and was now waiting to see what humans would do next.